Hello, everyone. Stephen Wilder here. Wilder Wrestling Entertainment, Episode 3. We are back post Mania. There's already been a Monday Night Raw. SmackDown hasn't aired yet at this point when we are recording this. But most importantly, as I discussed, that I will have a different friend of mine on every episode. We will talk wrestling, we'll talk storylines. We might jump down a rabbit hole a few times, but that's the best part about wrestling is talking about the classics, right? So here I have a buddy of mine. We've been friends for over 20 years. Uh, Jeremy Leonard Overton, but we call him J-Lo, or at least I call him J-Lo. JLo, how are you doing today? And welcome.
I'm doing great. Glad to having me. Oh, thanks for having me on. That's what I meant to say.
No, absolutely, man. Thank you very much, man. For a lot of people who don't know, I actually talk to my friends about everything, and I actually went up to everyone and said, hey, I'm thinking about starting this podcast just for all of us.
Yeah,
Would you join us? Yeah, and JLo, of course, he was like, yeah, absolutely. So thank you again, man.
no problem.
All right. At this point, Mania is over. John Cena. John Cena is
Okay.
17-time champion, right?
Yeah, yeah,
He starts Raw off, he comes out, and man, he just gives it to him, right? And he's saying that he is taking that belt with him, right? He tells, he shows him on the board how many dates are left, right? And he
and
said, that's it.
how many days I've wasted already. Yeah,
Yes. Yes. I'm enjoying him as a heel. I know it's a lot of people said it was kind of like slow back and forth, but man, it seems like it's just so real. You have this wrestler who has given it his 110% for over 20 years, and then he's just had it. He's like, I'm not here to impress you anymore. I'm leaving. You know, I'm breaking the record, and I'm taking this championship, and he's out of there, and no one can stop him. And then what
yeah.
happens?
And then he turns around, says shit, and gets RKO'd
Oh man, dude,
to the mat.
I miss seeing John Cena sell that RKO, man. Man, he made it look so good, man. And he just stayed stumbled there, right?
Yeah,
He
a lot of
was,
history.
dude. So for those who don't know, J-Lo here, huge Randy Orton fan. So this has been a great time to have him here with me because obviously, we have the next main event, the next pay-per-view is Backlash, May 10th, St. Louis, right? Randy Orton's hometown. S-
Yeah,
So the Viper comes out,
so
man.
definitely gonna lose.
Don't say
Hometown.
that. Don't say that. No, what would the world do if Orton actually flipped an arcade him like 6 times and pinned him and took the championship belt?
Nah, yeah. I'm sure it'll be a good match. They got a lot of history, but I don't see him. I'm assuming this is gonna wind up back to Cody at some point. How they get there, I don't know. But yeah, I'm excited to see Orton back in the title picture.
Dude,
Uh,
the
but yeah,
crowd loves Randy Orton. And I mean, I know it's funny. In the last episode, I keep referring to people as legends. And even when my buddy Randy, he says, dude, every wrestler is not a legend. And I'm like, well, in my book, they are. They're all doing something that I've always dreamed of doing. So, but Randy Orton, man, he's a legend. The
yeah,
legend killer is a legend.
yeah. I think Orton and Cena are obviously different levels, but they're both legends. Yeah, I mean Orton was is he still the youngest champ of all time?
I believe so.
Yeah. So
I think
yeah,
so.
and he's
Yeah.
he's won quite a few too. I don't know exactly the numbers, but
I think he's 14th.
okay,
Yeah, he's a 14-time champion. He actually even on the Raw he made a reference to that.
okay.
So but man, even though that probably majority of people know that Cena is going to win, spoilers, my apologies, our apologies, right? I blame J-Lo. But it's still going to be a great match, man, because they have been back and forth for so many years and they have put on such a great story. So
Hmm.
it's really cool that we get to kind of see that right off the bat.
Yeah, and I'm glad it's a Backlash and not SummerSlam where Cardi B gets involved or something.
Yes, I'm hoping Cardi B gets involved. That would be amazing, right? All right. So El Grande Americano. I
You
mean,
like you
what are
like
your
him?
thoughts? Oh, I love him. I love him.
I think it was a good pivot. Well, speculation that it's Chad Gable's, nothing confirmed,
Yeah,
but
nothing confirmed. Please, we don't like allegations like that on this podcast. So
I thought it was a
please,
good pivot from when they had to pivot from the him with the Wyatt Six. Uh, it's entertaining. It's
yes.
entertaining.
You know, El Grande Americano is very talented, sort of like Chad Gable. I love the mask, but I really love how the crowd is just into him. He gets the crowd going. I think this was probably, I've said it before, this was like a one-time gimmick, but it just, the crowd sells and it's cool. And I think they're going to keep him around for this triple A event coming up with that's merged with like Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
I think he's going to be like one of like the main people that cross over with those guys at first because I mean, why not? He's got the feud with like every luchador, so it's cool.
yeah. Hopefully,
Yeah. Rusev. Rusev.
Russo's back.
Rusev's back. What? But why? Why? And I try to be positive about everything. I don't want to be negative about anything anymore in my life at this point. But why did Rusev come out and pick on Otis? Did anybody find that very random?
Well, yeah. Well, I found it even more odd that Michael Cole was like pumped up. They were just squashing like he was a face. I don't know. We'll
I
see. I mean, there's really nobody to on the roster to squash, really, in my opinion. I think those like the days of having super non-talented people that nobody cares about are behind us. So, but yeah, he's
yes.
back. He's back. How it goes,
So obviously,
I
obviously
don't
he's
know.
he's a heel at this point. Where I mean, he's being pushed as a heel. He got a big pop, so
Hmm.
I am. But I mean, I guess I can see because Otis is so loved by the crowd and by people at home that I could see them picking him. That's what I came to my thoughts too. So
Yeah,
so Rusev's back. It's good to have him. But it's funny because he kind of left because he couldn't get out of that mid card range, and he comes back to the mid card range. But I mean, the storylines sort of going on so much, it would be really hard to try to introduce Rusev to any of those storylines right now. I mean, they're on a different
yeah.
level right now, so I mean, I could see maybe building them up.
I don't know. We'll see. They feel like if they're not top talent on TV, they're having a hard time lately finding what to do with these people. But hopefully, they have it figured out.
Yes,
I always liked him. Um, I didn't watch much of his AEW stuff, but I always liked him when he was with WWE.
yeah, I did too. I did too. He was a great heel, and then he did a little face works, and I liked
Mhm.
him. I enjoyed him.
Yeah, really talented. Yeah.
Yes. All right, Becky's a heel. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody saw it coming, right?
Yeah. I mean, how they got there, I kind of have a problem with, but like you said,
No,
being
nobody
negative.
saw Becky turning heel.
Yeah, the whole hurt. I don't know. I feel like Bailey deserves more respect, but I'm glad Becky Lynch is back, but to do Bailey like that, I thought was kind of messed up.
Yeah.
But
Do
yeah,
we?
no, it's no,
Do we?
everyone saw it coming. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to talk about the new group, the new heel faction just yet. But do we feel that Becky's the one behind maybe some of all these assaults?
I don't know. I feel like it's going. It's like reminiscent of the Jade Cargill thing, but I could be wrong. But
Yeah.
I have a feeling that maybe she's the one that attacked Bailey to get into the match or
Yeah.
something. But I guess we'll see.
Yes. I would assume that, right? So that's cool. I like it. I always like a good heel turn. So So awesome. I can't. I'm more excited. I mean,
Yeah,
Becky. I mean,
it's hard for to be heel, but we'll see.
yes, we've seen good guy Becky, but heel Becky, and we got a lot of good turns going on. So let's talk about that in a little bit.
Okay.
So Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez become champs again, which is really
Right.
cool because on my last episode, I really thought that they were going to be sure in, but then when they got that pin, I was shocked. But then when I saw they won again and Becky's kind of, lingering, I was like, okay, I see what's going on. So that was cool. I liked it. It was worth them losing the titles for a day, get them back. They deserve it, but then
Yeah.
Becky and then we get Becky to turn into a heel, so that's awesome. I like
Mhm.
it. I want to talk about Judgment Day,
Right.
but before I forget, man, dude, Gunther
Oh,
and
I totally
Pat
forgot about that
and
when we.
Pat
I
McAfee.
totally forgot about that. Yeah, I
I mean, we
forgot that
talked about this through text,
happened.
and we completely forget about it
Yeah,
as
well, we're
right
going over
before we start
everything.
this episode, right?
Yeah,
Holy smokes, man. That was a cool segment.
that was cool. I totally forgot that the NFL season was coming up, so he's probably going to be not on the
Man.
air
And it
as
was
much.
like
But
cool
yeah, that was
because
cool.
you see his podcast crew, right? His crew, his boys,
Mhm.
in the crowd. And it's cool how they jumped the corner because he's like, hey, that's my boy, and I've never
Yeah,
understood that about wrestling when you would have a wrestler like Rey Mysterio, it's supposed to be beloved by everybody in that locker room, and he gets jumped and nobody comes out and saves poor Rey Mysterio, right? But
yeah,
then when Pat gets jumped by flipping Rusev, I'm not Rusev. God, I got Rusev in my mind. By
yeah,
Gunther, his boys jumped the barricades, and it seemed real, and it
yeah,
seemed like he flipping had him, man,
yeah.
dude.
It was well done because at first I was like, I thought they were real fans from the crowd, and then when I saw they weren't getting their butts beat, really, then I was like, oh, that's probably the guys from his podcast. But yeah, it was well done, and he sold it all the way back to the
Oh yeah, dude.
locker room.
What do we see happening to Gunther?
I don't know. I don't know what they're. I'm assuming that match is SummerSlam. If I had to guess.
Oh, do you think like Gunther versus Pat?
Yeah.
Oh man, that would be cool.
I mean, I don't really know.
It
I
would
don't know
have
where
it
that's
would
going.
honestly have to be maybe like a 2-on-1, maybe. I don't know. But I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll talk about that later. All
All
right.
right.
Judgment Day. All right. So Dominic, Dirty Dominic Mysterio,
Hmm.
which I called was going to win the IC championship.
Yeah, you did.
And it seemed like the WrestleMania crowd, everybody in Las Vegas wanted it. And I guess I read where it was not scripted for him to run back in, but the crowd was going so electrifying over his win. He ran back in there just to feel it, and he got that second huge pop.
I'm
And
sure he's been getting booed all this time. I'm sure he
yeah, man,
enjoyed it.
so cool. When he came out at first, I didn't know what to think. I was like, here we go, another Nepo wrestler, right? Nepo baby, right?
Oh yeah, when he's teamed with his dad.
Yeah, and he did some of the moves. He was a little rusty, but then he started branching out, and man, he just took off when he joined Judgment Day. And he brought his own style with his character, so he brought who he really was to Dirty Dominic, right? And they kind of
Hmm.
dropped that whole prison thing, because we know that he's not from prison, so it's almost like Prison Mike from The Office, right?
Yeah,
Hey, I'm Prison Mike, so but I think they let him have a little bit more control. And then when him and Liv teamed up, I mean, well, actually, when him and Rio, I mean, were phenomenal. It's almost like
yes.
Eddie and China, right? And then he backstabs and joins with Liv, which I mean, who to blame, right? That's Dirty Dominic, right? And I'm just glad the flipping crowd is finally behind him, because he's cool, man. Obviously, future Judgment Day leader at this point, right?
Yeah, I would assume so. And back to Liv and Raquel getting the belts back, I would assume that was done so that most of them have belts and Finn doesn't.
Yes.
So they stop. I'm
That's
assuming stop listening to him, but I we'll see. I don't know how that will
that's I
go.
mean, that's a good point. I mean, that's actually really very good storytelling, right? That could have been like a indirect jab at Finn, right? Like they all have belts and he
Right.
does not have the belt, right?
Because I feel like I could be wrong, but I feel like when like Priest lost his, and then whatever happened with Rhea, I think she lost hers. That's when they all turned on them. So I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll
I get
see.
it.
I
Yeah,
know Finn needs out of there.
he does. He does. And so and also too, JD comes back, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
He helps Dirty Dominic, right? And he
right.
seems like he kind of didn't talk to Finn that much, and they were tag team champions together. That's a big deal.
Yeah, and they
I
all
mean,
seem
they're
to
on the
know.
board.
They all seem to know. Everyone but Finn seemed to know that he would be there.
Yes.
Yeah, the
So
way he was
like I
reacting.
like that. That was good. So we're seeing like maybe the future Judgment Day. I kind of hope they keep Judgment Day around. I mean, it's been around for a very long time at this point, but I think it would be cool just for Dirty Dominic himself to keep Judgment Day to help Dirty Dom build his career. He's hot, but then that way, as a heel, the way he is, they can have, they could be just a group of misfits.
Right.
You no longer, you kind of change the theme of the group, and you got this new generation of wrestlers and Carlito, right? Which I mean, Carlito that's my man, right?
Yeah.
So. And then, in it, I keep Judgment Day around.
Yeah. I feel like all of them. I don't think Finn needs it, but I think all of them kind of need it right now.
Yes.
So I agree that they should keep it together.
So WrestleMania,
Uh-huh.
the night one triple threat main event, we see Paul Heyman turn on CM Punk, then turn on his tribal chief,
Yeah.
our tribal chief,
Yeah.
and then tabs teams with Seth Rollins.
Hmm.
Seth Rollins comes out, right, with Paul Heyman. CM Punk comes out immediately. Doesn't even let him get a few words in. They start fighting, right?
Yeah.
And then we see a man come out, Braun Breaker. And we're like, whoa, whoa, what's he doing here? We're thinking it's coincidence, right? And then we see Seth Rollins. And then oh wait a minute, hold on. I think I skipped Tribal Chief coming up before we he reveals that, right?
Yes. Yeah. They beat up CM Punk stomped Seth in the corner and then turned his attention to Paul and
Yes.
got him in the corner, and then Seth raked his eyes and then stomped him, which I think one of the guys in the group said that when it's not in a match, the stomp keeps you out for forever. And then
Oh,
while he was laying out there, then yeah, Roman Reigns came out, beat up Seth, and then Superman punched Paul, went to spear him, and then yeah, he got speared by Breaker.
oh man. Okay, my apologies. My apologies, my tribal chief. I skipped you coming out. My apologies. Please, my tribal chief.
Hey, you can't skip him now. He's taking his shirt off. He's all ripped.
Dude,
I remember when he would never take that vest off.
yeah, Roman Reigns, my tribal chief is a beast.
Yeah, he's good.
All right, so let's just kind of skip forward to the end.
Hmm.
We see this new faction. Everyone on the internet's referring to it as a new evolution.
Okay.
So it's Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman,
Hmm.
Braun Breaker,
Hmm.
and rumored to be others joining.
I could see a third.
Does Becky join?
That could be possible if they go that way.
Why
I mean,
not? It
I
would be
mean,
perfect. Why not, right?
if it all has to do with Heyman guys, I mean, he's got those allegations though, so I don't know if like Lesnar's going to come back at some point. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's possibilities. I'm assuming there's going to be more to it though than just two people.
You know what I would like to see? I would like to see someone from the women's division, obviously Becky, and then a tag team. So I mean,
That'll
it
work.
would be great for a tag team. I mean, my buddy Matt Under France, you remember Matt?
Yeah.
He said Street Profits. I thought that was a really good idea. I just threw out the name New Day. I was like, it'd be cool, New Day. Bring the belts. I mean, why not, right? Give them a little bit more hype, make the championship, tag team championship a little bit more bigger deal on Raw.
Mhm.
That would be cool. But I'm very excited about this new evolution. I mean, if you guys let me know what you think about this, great storyline. I mean, got a lot of hot stories. SmackDown hasn't aired yet, so we're not sure what's going on. The only thing I'm asking for is a Wyatt Six return. I want to see Wyatt Six back. They had such an awesome introduction, kind of fell by the wayside. It wasn't even on Mania. I know due to injuries and some other things. I'm hoping maybe Alexa Bliss with them. What do you think?
Yeah, that would be nice. I hope they can do them justice. I know they have a hard time with the supernatural stuff, so
Yeah, yeah, it's hard to keep that stuff going. So
nowadays, yeah.
yeah, well we'll find out, and then I'll talk about episode 4. So we'll wrap it up there. First off, JLo, thank you very much for joining me today, man. I
Of
appreciate it.
course. Yeah, man.
And we'll have you back. I'm gonna have my all my buddies return. Just different, different segments. I'm not very sure as far as how many times, a month I'm gonna try to get these podcasts out. I guess it'll just depend on schedule and things that's going on, but I'll try to keep it often because wrestling is just always changing. And beginning of the year, the story's always popping. And it seems like with all these new contracts they signed with, Netflix and USA, they got to keep it going. So.
Yeah.
But I would say thank you, JLo. Thank you to
Yep.
everyone for watching. As always, if you could please subscribe, like, share, say, hey, I got my buddy. He talks about wrestling with his other buddies. Do you want to watch? Please. That would mean a lot to me because it is a pain in the neck to edit these videos. So I appreciate anyone who can, and this old man, he's still learning. So. All right, everyone, have a good night. Please let me know what you thought about this, in the Mania and then Raw. And then if SmackDown, heck, we can still talk about SmackDown in the comments, even though it hasn't aired at this point yet. JLo, thank you. Have a good night.
All
Tell
right.
the family I said hello. Love
I
y'all.
will.
Everyone, good night. Have a good one. Thank you. Bye.